from 1 or 2 minutes. Let's be courteous and wait for them, because it's not nice also if they can say that we haven't waited for them. Are you okay with the explanation? Are you able to understand what I'm trying to explain to you? I want you to use all these examples if ever you get any question in the examination, because I've given several examples for you to okay. C'est bon là, vous êtes okay? Let me just project the video. The video, the slide. Okay. You are able to hear me correctly, please?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Fine.
And you have to be careful. Some people, when they enter, they cut the connection. I think that some of your friends, I've got this problem with this group. Sans que je connecte sur le fait, je déconnectez-moi. Donc là, j'ai un problème. Là, j'ai besoin de café. J'espère que tu vas faire ça. I just hope that you are not doing it purposely. And it's only a question of accident that you have been doing it, because it's not nice also. Huh? Okay, let's start again. Let's continue. I've been focusing a lot on this first slide because why? I wanted to give you many examples, because I know that many of you are well, so you are well documented because of your experience, especially those having working in ministries, those working in NGOs. But I think that freshly school leavers, maybe they lack a little bit of more experience. And ce qui est arrivé, c'est que I will try to give you as maximum information, as maximum insight as possible. Okay, so let's move to the second slide, which is universal services. So universal services means that, like I said to you, it is provided to everyone by the public and private institution alike, regardless of salary. It's not only regardless of salary. You have to understand something. When you are living in any institution, you are living in any country, you have to understand that we are living in a stratified society. Stratified society means that people are always ranked in a hierarchy. So depending on the society, sometimes our society people are ranked according to their ethnic considerations. Some people are ranked sometimes in some countries according to their age, sometimes according to their gender, sometimes they are ranked according to their salary, according to their social status, occupational status. There are some countries which still have caste systems. So there's always stratification. You are always ranked in one way or another. Right? For example, à Maurice, il y a une catégorisation par rapport qui peut souffrir. Plus on a plus de grand poste, plus on a plus beaucoup d'argent. Okay? Donc, you are always categorized. There's always categorization. There's always categorization. Categorization doesn't mean discrimination. Be careful about it. Categorization doesn't mean discrimination. We are all categorized, but doesn't mean that there is discrimination. Categorization, stratification doesn't mean discrimination or marginalization. This is something else. I'm just telling you that any country will have always stratified people in different categories. For example, we have Monsieur, Madame, we have jeune vieux, we have monde rural urban, we have classe moyenne, class working class. There's always categorization. Monde certain religion, certain ethnic group. There's always categorization. But when you speak about social welfare services, it should be provided to everyone, irrespective of the categorization or stratification existing in the country. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? So it's universal entitlement. It ignores factors such as, like I just told you, sex. What's the difference between sex and gender? What's the difference between sex and gender?
Gender is by birth.
Gender is? What's the difference? Sex is a biological distinction of a male and a female, whereas gender is the roles attached to being a male and female. You can have a sex of a male, but you have a sexual orientation of a female. Okay, donc gender, on a différents catégories d'attitudes, on a ce qu'on appelle different sexual orientation, males, females, feminine, masculine traits. That's why we speak about LGBTQI. That's why the word gender is more appropriate to the modern society than sex. You have the LGBTQI and all these things. So, the universal treatment, irrespective of gender, plutôt because gender qui sexe, classe, qui ont beaucoup d'argent, qui ont beaucoup d'argent, qui font partie de la bourgeoisie ou sa prolétariat ou sa middle class, you are entitled to it. Religion, irrespective of the religious group, irrespective of your ethnic group, irrespective of your age as well. For example, la santé gratuite, l'éducation gratuite, etc. Right? Subside au gaz, okay? Subside au pain, subside de la farine, et frigo en solar system. Chemin d'affaires là, irrespective of qui catégorisation faut bâtir. Right? Et it is universal entitlement, ignores factors such as all these stratification factors, if I can use this word, right? And we have also it is a responsibility of the state to promote social solidarity through shared citizenship, resulting in universalism of welfare services. Donc, very important to understand that we have what is known as social, it is a responsibility of the state, not only the state, but all parties. That's why, bon, il y a beaucoup de bad qui nous servent dans le manuel qui cause l'État. Moi, je fais élargir dans ce point-là. On serve le mot state here because it is there in your handout. But when I speak about the responsibility, it's not a responsibility of the state nowadays. Le monde peut évoluer de nos jours. C'est pas juste l'État qui a la responsabilité, qui a la shared citizenship. C'est pour ça que vous trouvez Bananjio, par exemple, il dit tout récemment, tout le Rotary Club qui fait une chose à Bagatelle pour faire un don de vêtements d'enfants pour une victime de bâtirail à Madagascar. Ça, c'est un exemple qui peut faire une activité, qui peut provide un service pour aider la population et la communauté pour have a shared citizenship to help other people. Est-ce qu'il se peut comprendre où là? Faire où développer sa solidarité là-dedans for shared citizenship. It's not only about the government, it's also about the private sector, it's also about the voluntary sector who are there to bring up this shared citizenship, right? So examples can be free education, free medical provision, universal pensions, unemployment benefits, equal access to job opportunities, and police protection. That's a police protection, c'est tout le monde, quand vous dites moi, vous la carte ou ça l'autre prison or whatever. It's always about providing the service in a sense that it provides universal social protection as well. Right, okay? Donc, very important aspect to deal with all this. So what are the advantages, if I can put it like this, of the universal service provision? What is the universal benefits? Right? First of all, it enhances social cohesion and integration. If you still remember functionalism, what is functionalism? What is functionalist view of society?
Enhance social cohesion.
Yes, we say that it is the society, the social systems, which forms part where there are different parts which are interconnected together to maintain order and stability. C'est ça. Par exemple, je prends l'exemple de une société qui mène des coins du monde, dans les poumons, etc. Chaque partie d'un des coins du monde, il a son rôle à jouer. Et se connecter ensemble. If one day, one part doesn't function properly, the whole system will not function. Right? Là, quand on peut créer une situation, comme on dit, on peut donner tout du monde irrespective de sécurité. pas pour un conflit. Toujours pour feel that, okay, you are getting it, so am I getting it also? So there's no problem. We are all together in this boat. We are all together swimming together. We are all entitled to the same benefits. If we are in difficulty, we are all in the same difficulty. So when you are giving universal provision of social welfare services, then it tries to enhance this social cohesion. At the same time, it enhances social integration because we feel that everyone is entitled to a certain service, and we can try to integrate people in the society because they are able to get access to these services as well, right? Donc, this is a strong case for social welfare services in enhancing social integration. Easily administered and effectively delivered as it tend to be minimally intrusive. Please do this to Jimon. The more you give it to everyone, the less errors there will be. Because we don't need to be making means testing exercises. And it is less costly also in terms of inefficiency. Because you have to understand that okay? It has been identified as the most efficient form of providing benefits. Okay, and less costly. It results in higher economic impact and flourishing development. Just remember about the development approach. The development approach said that, if you still remember last time when we had classes, the development approach said that for us to be providing social welfare services, we provide this for the sake of developing the country as a whole, developing the individual first, and of course also developing the community. So when we are giving each and everyone a certain level of service, whether they are entitled to it or not, whether they are already rich or not, whether they need it or not, still they are getting it. It means that it is an improvement for the individual. When it is an improvement of the individual, the society will contribute our developing. There is. Can you give me 1 minute, please? Okay, are you able to hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Got a phone call that I had. Okay, so yes, so we need to it result in higher economic impact and flourishing development. So I've just spoken about development approach, and it results in higher economic impact and flourishing development. Okay, so contribute to gender equality. It's not only about gender equality. Again, it is mentioned in your manual, but just an amendment. It's not only about gender equality, but also about all forms of inequalities. Right? We have all forms of inequalities, and we have to understand that all sort of situations can lead to any sort of difficulties as well. Right? Okay, in terms of social welfare services, if you start to select people and then they will start to think that, okay, I'm not equal as compared to my friend, there's more conflict and all these things. So it leads to more sort of equality at all levels, right? Okay. We have a case against universal benefits. That is, what are the disadvantages? What are the reasons against social welfare, social welfare benefits for universal services. They say that what is the main reason for providing? If you still remember chapter 1, what is the main raison d'être, in fact, of providing social welfare services? It is to provide more social justice, to provide more social equality. So when you are giving each and every one, those who have and those who have not, the same kind of service, it means that you are in a certain way not respecting this philosophy of trying to reach what is known as more social justice and more social welfare services, right? And what is important for you to understand that the rich should not be, according to this perspective, is that the rich should not be benefited because they already have the resources that the poor doesn't have, right? And when you are giving them and giving the poor, you are not bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. You are instead maintaining the status quo. And this first point is closely connected to the second one, which says that we not only that we are not trying to maintain the aim of social justice and social inequality, but also we are trying to reinforce class inequalities and income distribution. Because one of the main aim of social welfare is not only to help people to reduce social injustice and social inequality, but also to reduce social polarization. If you still remember what is social polarization the first week when I explained to you, it is the disparity between the rich and the poor. And une des raisons principales qui nous donne social welfare, c'est de réduire l'écart, ce qu'il existe ensemble, et qu'on peut donner universal service, it doesn't reduce the, on va dire, on peut prendre une gobe de l'eau, parce que c'est de la mer. Donc, il va pas augmenter la mer là considérablement, parce qu'il déjà, il est vaste. Il y en a beaucoup de l'eau là-dedans, donc on peut mettre une gobe de l'eau, pas plus ça, non. Mais, on prend une gobe de l'eau, mettre dans le CO, capable d'y avoir un impact. Right? Donc, l'idée qui, ça, it reinforces social inequalities, class inequalities as well. So, the third point, it is expensive in a way that expenditures are high as more people are targeted, right? If the more people, c'est ça, nous prenons l'exemple de ce qui peut passer, disons, actuellement là. Il paraît que moi, n'importe qui budget dans la case, ok? Plus on a pour dépenser, plus vous avez un revenu. Right? The more universal services you have, the more revenue you need to get, and the more you need fiscal and monetary cost. What is fiscal cost?
Tax.
Sorry? Taxation, yes. And you have to understand that plus vous avez d'un service, plus vous avez d'une subvention, plus vous avez d'une subsidies, services, etc., gratuits, etc., plus vous avez quelque part revenu. Et revenu pour le gouvernement, c'est un, à travers taxes. Et deuxième affaire, pour la politique monétaire, c'est comment vous faire du monde arrête de dépenser, ou ça prête du gouvernement l'argent, pour être capable de dépenser le social. Par exemple, nous dire comme ça, vous augmentez l'intérêt. Vous augmentez l'intérêt au niveau Treasury Bills ou sell Treasury Bills, par exemple. Le gouvernement sell Treasury Bills from the central bank. Vous avez l'intérêt de la commercial bank, qui est 1%, I don't know. Vous avez Treasury Bill là, pour 8%. Right? C'est moi, vous exécutez l'argent là-bas pendant 10 ans. Et là, le gouvernement servi sa casse là. Oui, si vous avez gagné dans 10 ans, mais c'est moi, le gouvernement servi sa casse là pour lire, souvenir, mais il faut plus poids quand on a, plus on a universal service, the more you have universal service, the more you need to find funds for these universal service because there will be some fiscal and monetary cost behind, which is sometimes unsustainable and very difficult for all government departments to try to maintain this fiscal and monetary cost, which is very difficult sometimes, right? And it's sometimes people might be talking a lot. The calculation and the balancing of the budget is something which is very important, right? Next point, the government might be ignoring other priorities which necessitate mobilization of resources. Instead of giving to each and every one, you could have used this fund for only the needy, and the rest of the fund could have been used for some other projects, some priority areas as well, instead of giving to each and every one. This is a disadvantage of universal service. Let's move now to the selective services, The next slide, slide number 6, please. The first thing is that the advantages, in fact, I've already explained what is selective in this university. Yes?
Sir? Excuse me. Are you still
Sorry?
sharing this slide?
Sorry?
Are you still sharing the slides?
Yes, you don't see it? You don't see the
No, I
slide?
don't see it.
It's
Oh, you
still on
don't see the
page
slide?
3.
Oh, okay, let me just, I'm sorry, let me just return back. I was thinking that I also have my paper in front of me. Maybe I've forgotten to move the slides. I'm sorry. It's good you have stopped me. Okay. Yes, is it the same thing? Yes, very good. Are you fine?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
We say that it's less costly to administer the universal services, but then we say it's expensive. Could you please just
It is,
elaborate a little bit on this, please? Thank you.
yeah, okay, it is this for the which one you said? It has been
In slide 4, when we say it's less costly to administer the universal benefits,
yes.
and then we say that it's more expensive. We have more expenses, and then it's just a little bit confusing for
No,
me.
administratively, it's less efficient. Administratively, ou pas pour besoin faire comment bien là, expenses au niveau cost. Ah, ça veut dire plus beaucoup du monde vous allez dépenser. Maintenant, quand on peut dire efficience, ici, l'administrateur, this is something else. Au niveau travail, ça veut dire qu'on a moins de travail, c'est plus facile pour administrer. Comprends? On va avoir besoin de guetter que ça n'a qui besoin de gagner, qui pas besoin de gagner. Vous comprenez? C'est plus facile pour administrer, mais les plus expensive dans le sens que plus beaucoup du monde vous avez dépensé plus beaucoup. Mais c'est mon côté administrative procedures. Les moins, comment dire, time choses, les moins aussi, les minimally inclusive. And it is more easily administered. Il y a moins de procédures, il y a moins de processeurs, il y a moins de procédures bien passées avant. Et par exemple, quand du monde, il paye les pêcheuses, il paye un pension invalide. Et là, c'est un procédure qui bien passé, bien passe pour le board médical, pour bien get là, bien road secondaire. Tandis que là, pour pension vieillesse, tout le monde 60 ans, vous avez pas seulement un procédure là. Mais still, it is more expensive because it is there are more costs involved in the provision of these services. Mais c'est mon côté l'administration, il moins de choses, c'est plus efficient, on peut n'a aucun l'étape pour bien passer un pour le checker, pour le you understand, there is no means testing exercise. Am I
Okay,
clear?
merci. Yes, merci.
Good question. Good. So let's move again to slide number 6. Like I just told you, it's about benefits which are targeted at the neediest section. Nous retournons un petit peu comme des avantages de Universal. C'est-à-dire, nous pouvons ancrer ça la loi de social justice là, quand nous pouvons on is the neediest person and benefit the neediest section of the population. Consisting of people with, it's not only people with mental and physical and long-term, it's all sort of people who are marginalized and vulnerable. Add to this, huh? It's not only, this is only a few examples, but it's all people who are marginalized and vulnerable according to the society, and according to society, society okay? The aim is to relieve suffering by canalizing specific resources to the most disadvantaged. Again, when you are using selective services, it is more like being, resources are scarce. You have, so those having done a little bit of economics, one of the main economic problem is people's wants are unlimited, whereas resources are limited. C'est-à-dire, on a beaucoup de wants, c'est vrai, la pays est limité. Ou un pays séparé, il y a beaucoup de wants, et c'est moi, limité. Right? Donc, what's important for you to understand is that it relieve suffering by canalizing specific resources to the neediest. That is, en même temps, il contrecarre ce qu'il nous dit à côté efficiency, le côté pour un universal service. Il cause une efficience au niveau l'administratif. Ça n'a pas cause d'efficience au niveau où peut servir ressources pour besoin qui besoin servir. Donc, il y a two ways of analyzing efficiency. Both of them are using the point of efficiency in their own way. Est-ce que je peux comprendre là? Hein? Donc, là, il y a où les plus efficients parce que les choses, les peines pour choses, les peines pour passeport procédure administrative. Ça n'a pas où les plus efficients parce que vous pouvez servir les ressources qui besoin servir. Vous pouvez faire gaspillage. OK, donc, it need to go through the system of means testing. Vous faites expliquer ça tout à l'heure. Means testing, c'est parce que dans le checker, les plus encore une fois scientifiques, nous tester, nous guetter qu'est-ce qui est vraiment nécessaire à ce service ça ou pas. Si ou pas nécessaire, il n'y a pas de. Donc, it's very much scientific. It's not based on subjectivity or value-based judgment. And these are done before considering if the person is eligible or not. Examples. And of course, when we speak about means testing in many countries, I don't know whether for Social Security they do it. Est-ce qu'ils check the informal support of the individual? Ne pas qu'il existe au niveau sur l'argent. Pas qu'il existe au niveau seul, mais qui se pour il quand même du monde qui peut gagner pension. Si ce pension 9 000 roupies, c'est moi quand vous guettez sur enfants avec 5 000 roupies. Il y en a 4 enfants, 5 enfants avec 10 000 tous les mois, donc 50 000. Puis s'il y a un campement, il y a 4 télévisions. I don't know whether they check all these things, but normally when you speak about selected services, if you want to do a means tested exercise, it's not only about what is the formal support, it's also about the informal support as well that the person is getting before they choose. The examples of public housing, la case NHDC, moi je prends l'exemple au début, concrete ceiling, and temporary assistance for needy families, poverty relief programs, and so on. OK? Et question là, peut-être? Right? Do you have any question? Question? No question?
No, sir.
No.
So, case for selective services, more money can be invested in projects such as infrastructural projects. You know that any government has both capital and recurrent expenditures. Donc, nous avons recurrent expenditure, salaire, management, etc., social, etc. Mais aussi, nous avons capital expenditures, like infrastructural developments, c'est-à-dire métro les gens, Maurice, nous avons dit quand vous êtes capable de réduire l'argent au niveau recurrent expenditure, then you are able as well to try to recanalize this expenditure in terms of capital expenditure. So more money can be spent on relieving the suffering of the poor instead of wasting it on enjoying. En place, tu ne donnes pas 5 000 roupies tout le monde pension VS, ou quand tu donnes 7 500 parce que ça l'argent là, ou arrête de demander les autres qui est là 5 000 roupies, et quand tu donnes 7 500 parce que ça l'argent qui peut rester là, ou quand augmente de subvention and enjoy higher income as well. Donc, all these are very important. And some people are physically and mentally incapable to work by no fault of them. Because vulnerability, it's all types of vulnerability, whether it is physical, mental, social, economic, or whatever. Right? We have to support all these people, and it is one of the main reasons for it. And of course, selective services decrease the gap between the rich and the poor, which is very important. Right? It decreases the gap between the rich and the poor. Now, as for universal service, which we have, universal service, we have also these advantages that I've just mentioned. But as for universal service, we have also some disadvantages, like universal service. So, quels sont les désavantages? Premièrement, means tested benefits may be cut off when poor are employed in the labor market. Nous dire qui où je peux gagner une subvention, mais à ce moment-là, travail ça. Mais parfois, le travail n'est pas suffisant. Donc, it's very much calculated on whether you have employment or not. But sometimes we need more than this employment, and it's not sufficient. And we need that people come and then try to continue to support you as a person. So poor may become dependent on the state, The mere fact that they know that only them are benefiting this, they will think that, okay, it is a duty of the state to continue to support them. Then we can develop a culture of dependency, might be developing, and this might create a situation that the poor might always think that we'll always be getting, we need this subsidy, we don't need to work and everything, and that creates a situation of culture of dependency. There are high chances of benefit cheats. Quand on donne tout le monde, ça veut dire tout le monde bénéficie, tout le monde eligible. When you are giving only to a few, it means that only a few are eligible. But these few sometimes it might try to defeat the system, and there will be more benefit sheets. And you can tracer pour développer, etc. Quand on tient de l'eau, la grand-mère, ce nom, c'est vous autres. Right? Parce que c'est pas un exemple de the water tank and everything. Right? Lower self-esteem. Right? Lower self-esteem in the sense that they might be thinking that, okay, I'm a vulnerable group, I'm like this, that's why the government is helping me. Am I inferior? That's why the government is helping me. They develop a lower self-esteem in themselves, which is not good for the self-esteem. And the feeling of failure comes to be attached in providing the state, which some individuals cannot afford. By providing the disadvantaged member with welfare benefit, the state is failing its role. Maintenant, quand on peut donner une partie du monde, qui peut démontrer? Vous pouvez démontrer que vraiment, ou comme un État, ou comme une société, you have failed. Because if you were successful, there wouldn't be having inequalities. It is a pure indication of failure when you have only selective services. When it is universal, it means that there's a reason why you give to everyone. But when there is selective services, it means that you acknowledge that you have failed, and that's why these people are in this situation. It is an acknowledgement of failure from the part of the government. By providing so, it has failed at exemplary role of government. The outcomes might be social instability. If you still remember when I spoke about social welfare services or universal services, I said that when everyone is benefiting, there will be less tension. When only part of the people are benefiting, they will say, why they and not only me? Why are they always benefiting? There's always tensions and conflicts, and it might create situations of them. When je vais ajouter une petite affaire concernant le deuxième point là, the poor may become dependent. There are two kinds of poverty. There's absolute and relative poverty. Absolute poverty means that you are deprived from the basic necessities for a good standard of living. Subsistence living, you can call it. Ça veut dire basic clothing, basic food, basic shelter. Tandis que relative poverty, it means that you are living at a percentage median, 50%. Il y a une 50% médiane, salaire médiane qui existait pour tout le monde. Et ben, ça m'a dit qui pauvre, live below this 50%. Et ce qui gouvernement fait, par exemple, minimum salaire, il calcule ça, par exemple, j'avais besoin d'un plus qui se passe 9 000 là, donc, c'est sa médiane de 50% qui est calculé aussi à peu près, si vous pensez. Le calcul, c'est un professionnel qui fait ça. Il dit qu'il est besoin là-haut. Parce que sinon, s'il est en bas, ça veut dire ou là, relative poverty. So let's break for this second search. We are mostly over. We meet in some 5 or 7 minutes. Let me have a break, 5 minutes. And then we meet again in the third video. Okay?
Okay, sir.
We have the link for the third video.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Give me some 5 minutes. I'll come 5 minutes. Thank you. See you in 5 minutes. If you have any, do you have any questions for us all before we?
Yes,
Sorry? You have any question, please?
Oui, j'ai une question, mais c'est pas encore bien formulé. Je vais essayer de penser pendant cette. Non, je vais penser. Il faut que je formule bien la question. Quelque chose de clear.
Ali, and then you can ask your question. Thank you. We'll meet you in 5 minutes. Okay.